What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, major spoiler warnings if you haven't had a chance yet to see episode 8 of She-Hulk, but finally our boy Charlie Cox is back in the MCU as Daredevil. We're going to talk about where it left his character going forward in phase 5, and also what I think this show now did to set up the finale, why I think there's a really good opportunity we're going to see at least one major character that hasn't featured just yet in the series. We're breaking down all the Easter eggs and things that happened last night, Daredevil in the MCU, She-Hulk episode 8. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So episode 8 introduced two brand new characters to the MCU, one a lot less interesting than the other. Eugene, or Frogman as he's known in the comics, is an actual comic character, but they've changed so many things about his story here. He doesn't appear to be going on to be the hero he would be in the comics. They've made his dad rich instead of an inventor, and in this show he's actually the villain. I don't think any of these changes matter. I don't think they have any plans in using him going forward. The only thing else I'll mention about his character is after having watched the episode twice, he really felt like he was written a lot like Vigilante from Peacemaker, and while I'm sure these shows were probably produced very long ago and at the same time, so I'm not accusing one of ripping off the other. If you haven't seen Peacemaker, go watch that because Vigilante's just a much funnier character in the same style. Now, speaking of much funnier characters but in the same style, we finally got Charlie Cox's Daredevil all suited up in the MCU after his Matt Murdock tease in Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's awesome that they used the courtroom appearance opportunity to focus on something pertinent like superhero anonymity and identity, not just because of the Easter egg lingering from Spider-Man and where his characters left off, but because the major bombshell reveal that the Sokovia Accords were repealed. Now, we all know that the Sokovia Accords were the MCU's answer to an early version of the Mutant Registration Act, and obviously initial reaction to them being repealed, this must have been done during the blip or thereabouts so that superheroes could act with anonymity, and there was very little oversight to be had when the world was in shambles. It also allows teams like the Thunderbolts and or whatever's going on with the Skrulls to move more silently. So I think that there's a lot of parties that are probably at play on how and why those got repealed. In the meantime, we find out that superheroes are allowed to stay anonymous and that the government doesn't seek to oversee them in the same way they used to. Of course, this would be an issue that Daredevil and Matt Murdock would feel strongly about, as he would not want people to know that he was vigilante crime fighting at night and representing the law by the day. Also, the reveal that the Sokovia Accords no longer exist really recontextualizes what's going on with the Department of Damage Control here in Phase 4. Spider-Man No Way Home, Ms. Marvel, probably again the same crew that cornered She-Hulk at the end of this episode. Whoever's in charge of damage control is a relic, a remnant of those who look to control superheroes, which makes me think if there is any truth to the rumors that Thunderbolt Ross may be recast, and even by Harrison Ford, in the MCU so that they can finally do Red Hulk, that he may be the one who's in control of the DODC right now. Remember, he's the one who introduced us to the Sokovia Accords all the way back during Civil War, something that is a crazy name drop this late into Phase 4, and coming in the same episode that She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall and mentions the Red Hulk. Could it be that we're all headed for this in episode 8 as a setup for New World Order and beyond? We'll talk about that a little later in this video for theories for the finale and what happened during the end of the episode. Now, obviously, the best part was Daredevil all suited up, and I have a couple of things I want to say about the action. I saw some comments that they thought the CGI was bad. I think it was some of the best of this series, and I don't think that Daredevil looked too Gumby or rubber in the action sequence. I thought the fight between him and She-Hulk was awesome. I will also mention this Daredevil seems to be quite leveled up from the one that we saw in the initial Netflix shows. Speaking of which, if you have somehow not watched the initial Netflix Daredevil shows, this is an excellent time and reason to do so. They are amazing. Now, one of the hallmarks of the first 2 seasons were their incredible one-shot hallway fights. Now, what we mean by one-shot is that the camera never pans, there's no edits or clips, they don't do it in more than one take. It's just all at the same time, one seamless shot where Daredevil for 5 to 10 minutes fights countless foes There was one in the first season and one in the second season. They are both amazing, and I highly recommend. I would never claim to say that this hallway scene went anywhere near those in terms of how awesome they are, but it was very obvious that the writers on the show loved the character and loved those previous shows and wanted to do a hallway scene as paying homage to that. And while I have no problem with them flipping it on its head, I would have wanted to see Daredevil go through those last 5 guys. She-Hulk smash at the end was great, showing how she can just take care of a group if they're all grouped up. AoE, if you know what I'm saying. I personally have no qualms with the fight or the CGI at all. The portrayal of Matt Murdock and Daredevil, Charlie Cox is the same old actor he was before. The dialogue seemed right for the character. His character seemed right for what we've already seen in the Netflix show. Speaking of which, I was super interested in how they would rewrite his backstory, but it seems as though, because they gave us such a huge exposition dump during the bar scene, that they're keeping a lot of the details that we already know about him intact. Indeed, this is just a soft reboot. Whatever we know from those shows, most of those details are in play for this version of the character. And as you remember from the shows, his original tailor is incarcerated, meaning he would have needed a new tailor in that continuity, a detail that has seemingly carried over, as not only is Jacobson the best superhero suit maker for hire as he claims to be, and that would fit for what Daredevil needs, but also explains why Matt Murdock had to come out from New York to LA. Basically, a perfect narrative fix. And speaking of perfect narrative fixes, man, I killed the segues in this video. What's what they did at the end of this episode? There had been wide reports that they completely re-edited how this season went. Early reports on the show said that it wasn't edited well at all, and then we came to find out that what would have been during the finale, her originally getting her power, got shifted into the first episode, and that can explain basically what happened to this, an episode focused mostly on Daredevil that shoved a 5-minute scene at the end to set up the finale. And the best way to do it is call it out with your fourth wall breaking character. That's when she name dropped the Red Hulk. We'll talk about that in a second. But more importantly, I don't think the scene needed to be more than that, so I don't mind they did it the way they did. Obviously, this was all meant to make good on Bruce Banner's warning during the first episode. Once they start seeing you as a monster, that doesn't stop. He tried to warn her of some unattended side effects of being a superhero, that this was going to happen. She didn't listen and kind of went savage She-Hulk there when her sex tape gets shown to an audience during her award ceremony that included her parents. Now, a lot of you said during the live watch party that you don't think her behavior was that off the rails. I don't really either, but hey, again, perfect narrative fix. But really, that end scene put me in mind of another scene in a finale for Falcon and the Winter Soldier with the blinking red lights and the characters in masks. Incidentally, while I don't think those scenes directly tie to each other, just a little bit of synchronicity, as we know that the leader, who's most likely behind what's going on in this episode, bar one other theory, I have a video coming out this week. Besides that, the leader is going to show up again in New World Order Captain America alongside rumored multiple other Hulks. If they're setting up multiple other Hulks in a storyline that saw at least one group of villains try to obtain She-Hulk's blood, you would think that would be for creating other Hulks. And if there's going to be other Hulks in New World Order, well, you guys don't need me to draw any more lines than that. You could figure out why the finale, or at least a tag scene at the end of the finale, would set that up perfectly, which really makes me wonder if they are going to introduce Red Hulk during the finale. But guys, I honestly don't think so. I know there's going to be rumors and expectations for that. I would say absolutely no. Do not plan on seeing Red Hulk, Harrison Ford, or anybody else playing him. I think most likely we get a post-credit scene for the leader setting up what's happening in New World Order. It doesn't mean we won't get a Red Hulk down the road and eventually in Thunderbolts. I just would not anticipate seeing him during the finale. One final thought I will leave you with, though, because there is a character I anticipate seeing during the finale, and that's Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, based on set photos we had already seen between Titania, the actress who's playing her, and Mark Ruffalo in CGI, full mocap, during a scene somewhere that has not played out anywhere yet during this season. And I think the reason for that is it's got to be in the finale. Yeah, maybe they shot some stuff that they're not actually going to air, or, maybe some stuff got cut, but Mark Ruffalo in full mocap alongside Titania feels like something that they're lining up for the finale. One thing I will say, just in regards to the show, there are a lot of loose threads here they haven't explained. Basically, Titania's character, who's supposed to be the main villain in this show, has been nowhere to be found. It may be revealed that she was behind a lot of this, but they've really done nothing with her her character development, and I read some of the gripes about the writing in episodes 5 through 7 not being the best. Sure, but you know what? Not every TV show is amazing, and not every episode of every TV show is amazing. Here's looking at you, Game of Thrones, and finally we got an episode like last night. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. How hype are you for Daredevil now finally in the MCU? I am over the moon, man. It is so awesome. He is so awesome. I cannot wait to see him team up with Spider-Man whenever that's to come. We're going to see it. I don't know when. I don't know how. Secret Wars, ? I don't know. Daredevil, Spider-Man, Marvel, make it happen. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away PlayStation 5s every 20,000 subscribers all the way up to 1 million. The next milestone is 1 million subscribers actually, and we're headlong into it. Could easily hit it by month's end or next. We'll also be doing a ton of other giveaways here at the channel as we push into the end of the year. If you want to be entered to win, all the same rules will apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name AllFires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking my channel out. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one, and tonight live for the Werewolf by Night watch party, same time right here at the channel, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific. I'll see you guys then. Peace.